Viacom CBS sold CNET Media Group to Red Ventures here for $500 million. This is interesting insofar as that, I mean, $500 million is still not a small amount of money, but this deal includes GameSpot, Giant Bomb, and Metacritic. Obviously, there are others involved there, but those are three that would be pertinent to our community anyway. CNET has been around for a hot minute, and they originally, I think, got bought out for a lot more than $500 million. I think the original one was over $1 billion, but they got sold off for $500 million to Red Ventures. Red Ventures seems like, from what I've read, they're interested in really focusing on technology and video games, as they see that as a increasing market for content that these websites provide. And it seems like Viacom CBS just doesn't want to be the one to have to deal with it, so they're handing it off for somebody else to do. Up to this point, I have not seen anything, and nobody really knows anything about whether or not this buyout is going to include layoffs. It has been common here in the last few months with other gaming news and tech news websites folding. Like a branch of Kotaku, I think, was not long ago. I think Kotaku in general is in up shit's creek. They've been experiencing a lot of layoffs. So because they're honestly, they're competing with YouTube. Like, these websites that used to be the pinnacles of journalism for gaming news and getting your gaming news or getting your reviews and everything, and trusted reviewers came from these major websites like GameSpot, Giant Bomb, IGN, Kotaku, Polygon, all these websites that have been around for a long time, but now they're competing with YouTubers. And I'll never forget, there was I was listening to a podcast for Giant Bomb many years, and this was years and years ago now. I mean, this would have been like fucking 7 years ago, 8 years ago, where somebody had written a question into them to ask on the podcast, similar to what we do with like tech support. They've got a question and answer thing too. And somebody had asked if they would ever consider hiring a YouTuber that does game reviews to work for Giant Bomb, like bring them on as part of the editorial team. And Jeff Gerstmann laughed and said no. And he said, but not for the reason that you would think. It's not that they're not talented. It's not that they can't do it. In fact, many of them are quite good. The problem is, what is their incentive to fucking come over here? We're going to pay them 50 to 60, it was 40 to 60 or something $1,000 on a high end. And a lot of these YouTube, because we're working for a company above us, and a lot of these YouTubers are making orders of magnitude more than that on their own. They're their own boss and they're doing it on their own. And they have viewerships that are as big, or in some instances, bigger than ours, because that's where media seem to have shifted over time, is away from these websites like GameSpot and Giant Bomb for reviews and onto people doing like YouTube content or even live streaming stuff like Twitch, which wasn't around really that strongly at the time of this question, but nevertheless.
Well, why wouldn't Giant Bomb go on YouTube?
Well, they are. They're on YouTube, but they're not, but they don't, like, they work for a parent company, right? So they're operating in the confines of that. When they were first starting Giant Bomb and they were truly on their own, and they hadn't like moved into the CNET family and whatnot, which was ironic because it was the family that owned GameSpot, which is who fired these guys or who they left in the first place, and now they were back in the same fucking parent company all over again. They focused almost entirely on video content, because they knew that's what people were interested in. And that's still mostly what they're doing now. But they're also a bunch of 45 and 50-year-old men, and as much content as they do put up on YouTube, they have their own on the website subscription service to subscribe to the website that's quite popular still, that they're just doing loads of content there. They still live stream, they do all that stuff on their website, but they do have and host content on YouTube, but they haven't targeted it as such. I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know if that's because the upper management is just wanting them to keep everything, all the revenue, everything on their site and not try and diversify or use YouTube as a monetization strategy, because they really don't target it that strongly, nor do they target Twitch. But none of those sites do it. All of them are kind of in their own little ecosystem. That might change now with this company buying out CNET. Maybe they're going to have a different strategy to grow these websites for sure, but yeah, they're competing. I mean, they're competing with big names. I mean, before Total Biscuit passed, he was one of them. He's fucking huge. Jim Sterling does enormous money per month doing the Jimquisition stuff. Angry Joe, another one. He's basically living in a house with fucking 3 other dudes or some shit, and all they do is sit around with Sennheiser headsets on all day and talk about video games, and then they fucking clip whatever works, throw it up on YouTube, and just constantly churn out content on YouTube. You know, it's a different market, and it's not a big market to begin with, honestly, in comparison to what people seem to think it is. And people don't really buy games based on reviews as much as people think they do. It's a very specific corner of the market. So it's an interesting buy. $500 million is a fair chunk of money. It's interesting to see Metacritic and GameSpot and Giant Bomb all caught up in that same buyout. And I'll be very interested to see what their strategy is with these websites. What are they going to do? Are they going to close some down? Are they going to fucking restructure them? Because most of them do. But like for you don't, for example, you're not in the market of looking at reviews really for games very much before you go and buy a game, right?
No, I mean, I'm more of a movie guy, right? So it's just sort of flipped around. I watch all the movie reviews or
so you at least, but reviews. So it's similar. So you for movies, that's your thing. Yeah.
It's pretty much identical.
Yeah.
Somebody's opinion on a video game or opinion on a movie is. You're doing the same. It's actually the same content. In fact, a lot of the movie reviewers that I watch also occasionally review video games. They're not, a lot of them aren't diehard gamers, so they'll review the big popular ones, not only to get the clicks, but it's probably they're casual gamers, so it fits their motive. You know, a guy like you're gonna play more obscure stuff, and same with like, you know, game reviewers are, you know, they're gamers first, right? So there's this different thing, but and all of there are people that have their own websites, but most of the ones that have websites, almost all of them that I watch, all their content is also on YouTube. So it's kind of like your website where, you know, you can click on the review, the video.
The website's mostly there for Google search engine purposes.
That's it. That's literally the show.
Yeah.
Or for write-ups, like physical. Like if people don't want to watch video and there's a write-up, then people can go and read, because some people just like reading. It's not the majority, but it does exist. So it's interesting why they don't have their own YouTube channels and why they do that. My guess would be is they're probably trying to, and kind of like the movie business, where it's not necessarily the reviewers. Kind of like, you know, the actual reviewers, say at Giant Bomb or wherever, it's probably not their decision. It's the people up top. And the reason why they don't want it a lot of the times in the movie business is they want to be above YouTube. Now, they might not get the views of YouTube, maybe not even a tenth of the viewership that YouTube gets and what the YouTube reviewers get. But what they have in the movie business is more of a prestige.
They want the fine dining experience of movie reviews.
It's more of, hey, we're not just some Joes with a camera in our bedroom. You know, we're real professionals that go to, you know, and get invited to.
We're professional movie watchers.
But that's the type of stink, right?
Yeah, that's what they want. Yeah,
that's what they're going for, and that's, you know, and a lot of them, the parent companies are trying to be looked at as premium, high quality, luxurious type content, and not, hey, anybody can throw this on and give an opinion. There's a time and place for it. Kind of like, you know, YouTube is the McDonald's, you know, of the video eating world or consuming world. And these other side companies that have their own websites are, you know, the fine dining. And, you know, you want to come in, take your time, read a little, you know, enjoy your stay here. Check out our other, you know, you're following certain people that write in a certain way. And you know, and in YouTube, it's instant gratification, flash, finish one review. Don't even finish it. Skip to the end, look at the rating, and then go over to the side and click on another review, skip to the end. What did he give it? Oh, an 8 out of 10. All right, good skip. It's just
it.
different type. That's it. That's what it is.
That's pretty much it. It's which is also why I have the website and why I offer my reviews in like every format possible, because there are people that want to go to YouTube, skip fucking literally everything, see a number, fuck off, next video, see a number, aggregate that score, call it a day. Some people will watch the whole thing because they want to see gameplay. Some people just want to read it because they enjoy reading. Some people want to listen to the shit when they're on their way to fucking work in the morning. There's, everyone wants to digest their content differently. And for those websites, for sure, it's like the fucking caviar of reviews, even though many of them are like, caviar you'd buy at the dollar store. It's like the fakest ass caviar.
Gas station sushi.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're not fooling me, man. This, and we're not saying that you can't get really high quality stuff on YouTube. There's tons of it.
Oh my God, there's so much like really good stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. In fact, I would argue, in my opinion,
it's better.
The best stuff is on YouTube.
It is,
because
100%.
They don't have those constraints.
Yeah.
They don't have daddy upstairs saying you can't say this, or this person gives a lot of money to this company, or they invite us to a lot of things. Make sure you're really nice. So you get more genuine stuff on YouTube. But yeah, there's so much of it that it kind of does dumb it down and water it down a little bit and muddy the waters. But if you find the right people on YouTube, like, you get some really high quality stuff. And hopefully they get, I'm sure there's tons of great reviewers and writers that would shine tremendously on YouTube, but they're getting paid. They're probably a good reviewer and
they're
stuff.
Getting benefits. They're getting
80K,
like
100K a year. They're the star of the show over there. They got their benefits. Everything is good. They probably are like, whatever. Maybe when my time is done here, I'll go do my own thing, and hopefully I've gathered enough fans that they'll watch me and do my own thing. But as of right now, I'm living good over here on this barren website, or this website that does well, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that describes, at the very least, I don't know where GameSpot is in terms of their editorial staff. Their turnover is certainly a lot higher than let's say Giant Bombs. Giant Bombs had like the same fucking group of guys mostly for the majority of it, with a few exceptions. And all of the guys that have worked in some of these places that are really good, and you can tell they've gone on to do their own projects outside of it, and they've all done very well. So it's, they'd be fine one way or the other. But it's true, when you get into a situation like that, if you're doing writing even for video games, I mean, there are video game writers that are doing 80, 90K.
Yeah.
And they've got benefits because they're working for a company, and they've got a fucking pension or whatever else they want to put together. And so a lot of these reviewers are going to look at that and go, yeah, I could probably do pretty well on YouTube. I don't know for certain, but I could do pretty good on YouTube. But am I going to have benefits, and there's no stability, and I got to do it all myself instead of wake up, go to the office, play my games, see my coworkers, talk about games, and go the fuck home? Well, it's like, that's a very different life than, let's say, Total Biscuit, who woke up, worked 27 out of the 24 hours a day, and then put up like 16 videos an hour and had every game covered because he's a one-man circus. That's a totally different lifestyle.
Yeah. And some people have it. Some people have it. Some people don't. Some people don't want it. Even if they have it, they're like, that ain't me, dog. It's like, if I had the choice personally to make content for, say Twitch exclusively, you know what I mean? Or like, I probably shouldn't say that. Like, say Giant Bomb. Giant Bomb calls me up. I was like, yo, Jeff, we really like what you do. Want you to come work for us. We'll give you $100,000 a year. You're going to be working Monday to Friday, the occasional Saturday. You might have to play a game that comes in last minute or whatever. We got this $100K a year. You want to take this, but the only thing is you don't have the freedom to just go and play whatever you want anymore. We gonna need you to, be dedicated to us. This is what you do. I'm gonna say no to that every single time, because I know I'm more valuable elsewhere, and I'm just more ambitious than that. And I just want to have my own freedom, just being able to do what you want to do. Some people just even if the money wasn't as good, even if the money was less. Some people just want to be free. They just want to do what they want to do.
No, money isn't the only incentive.
No,
that's the thing. It's not the only incentive. But we'll see. I'm very interested in how that goes because I got to be honest with you. Before Giant Bomb went back in and was owned by that group, they did some of their best stuff because they didn't have to answer to anyone. Yeah, they probably weren't making the money. They were in a basement in like the fucking middle of nowhere in California, but the content that they produced and the their demeanor was just fucking different for sure. And because ultimately you're not working for somebody in the back of your mind, right? It's a different thing. It's a very different environment. So we'll see. I wish them all the best. Hopefully this means no business or job losses like it has in the past, because there's a lot of really good people.
It probably will. Most acquisitions always come, like,
with
I shouldn't say
cuts.
always, but a lot of the times there's some heavy cuts.
Yeah.
Some heavy cuts, because once the new owners take a look at the books and they realize, whoa, this bit of money over here, these 10 people, these 50 people we have on payroll over here, what do they do? You know, or if we are moving these guys over to YouTube, we don't need all of these people anymore.
Yeah.
And it circles back to around with, this is the risk that you take in any industry when you don't want to be your own boss, when you don't want to be your own man or woman, and go out and get it. You know, the guys that you named before, the Angry Joes and whoever else, they don't have to worry about somebody coming along and buying up YouTube and completely axing all of game reviewers on
they
there.
Mostly just have to worry about YouTube's ad policy every 3 months.
Of course, we all do. But I mean, we're basically conditioned now as content creators that if you're the good ones and you're the hard workers, you're gonna find a way. You're gonna adapt. Of course. You're gonna figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But so we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Big buy though.